Happy Friday with a long overdue update from the workshop, everybody. In front of you, the 1977 Kawasaki Z650 B1, the last of the drum brake in the rear with the spokes and the single disc in the front, borrowed quite clearly from the Z1000, which is right next door. Wanted to provide you a little update on this one. There's been quite a bit of stuff going on. Big change is the front crash bar came back from chroming, so that's now temporarily and loosely fitted to the bike in preparation for the sirens to be fitted, so it only gets a pair of sirens on here. Bright work, the mounting work has been fitted here, so stainless steel bolts. Andy next door is going to make the brackets for the blue lights, same as the 78 Z1000 that we shipped out right before Christmas. Lots and lots of other bits and pieces going on here, but two things I wanted to draw your attention to on this bike which have been really perplexing. So the first one is, we couldn't figure out why this wiring harness, which is part of the main harness here and is original to this bike, has provision for 3 phases. That's the 3 yellow wires here coming from the generator, and this green with a red trace that comes off the neutral switch right there. Because in here was a generator that had 2 phases, so only 2 wires. So anyway, after much sleuthing, we found out, nobody's fault in particular, that the later model, so again, this is a 77, so from 78 onwards, they went to a 2-phase generator, and the 78 generator had been fitted to this, meaning there was a 2-wire connection, not a 3-wire, and the 3-wire generator was still down at BC Performance in a box. So problem number 1 fixed. Problem number 2, when we look again at the stock wiring harness here, we have a red that is coming out of the main loom, bunch of connectors in here, that's all the usual suspects like the power from the starter solenoid, and then we have this, which is a regulator rectifier combination. That gives us this one right here. Well, it turns out that is incorrect for this bike as well. Although it bolts up, that was not the device used for this bike. This was in fact originally fitted with a separate rectifier and a separate regulator, just like this. That one right there on this side, and where is it on this side? I always forget where they're on the Z900. Z900. I think it's underneath. Anyway, there's separate regulator and rectifier. So that's the rectifier that converts DC into AC, and the regulator flattens it all out, makes it smooth and lovely. So originally, our bike up there would have had a very similar setup, because this is a 76 Z900A4. So they basically just took this and adapted it to that, which makes sense. So over the years, people have discovered that the reg-rec combo is much more reliable than the single devices, having 2 single devices. So this has been converted, but the conversion doesn't quite marry up, because the wires that come out of here don't quite marry up to what's required for here. So there's a little bit of fiddling going on. We are going to keep this. The reg-rec combo is the right way to go on this. It's just a little bit more fiddling to make sure that we get all the power in the right place, nothing catches fire, all that good stuff. Then also found out that the 2 chains that we had in stores were not correct for this bike, so we have to order a Z650 chain. It didn't come with one, but that's a very, very simple addition. So this bike is basically almost out the door. Now, the really, really good news today is that this original exhaust was re-chromed. It took nearly a year to get this back from the folks that re-chromed it, who will remain nameless for the purposes of this video. It was missing the screw-on style or bolt-on style exhaust shield. So let me show you what I mean by that. The exhaust originally was fitted with an exhaust shield like this to stop you burning your shins and feet and all the rest of it on this while you were riding the bike. That was missing from the bike. We'll just leave that one hanging in the air like a pregnant pause. Terry Klum in Minnesota very kindly got in touch with me and said he thought he had one that would fit the bike because he had a 650 years ago. And sure enough, it showed up today. He didn't ask for payment or anything. That is the piece that's been missing from this bike for as long as it's been in our workshop. So I'm absolutely delighted to have this. This is the final piece of the equation for the exhaust, other than the original bolts, which we've got on order. This is a major, major win and will allow me to send this one out the door. So Z650 is coming along nicely. We've got the wiring in for the lights and sirens, as you can see here. Brackets are going to be made by Andy next door. The auto elec will be in the shop tomorrow to fit and test all of this. So electrically, both the civilian wiring, so the stuff that's come standard from the factory, and the aftermarket stuff that we fitted for lights and sirens all works. That is a really good news story. So there you go. We've got an update coming on this one in the next video, which is the 78 Z650. That's a C2 spec. And there's an interesting bit of stuff going on. And there's also a little surprise in that box over there. Oh yeah, and by the way, we've got a motorcycle left. So I've got a lot of video updates coming. We've got some really, really big news coming as well. Stay tuned for that. I've teased you about it a couple of times. I promise I will deliver on the tease. So lots more updates coming about the Z1000, the 77, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, many, many, many more updates coming. So with that, because the humidity is killing me today, I'll leave you with that update and be back to you over the weekend with more details about this one, that one, and everything else in the shop. Cheers, everybody.